insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack.
So essentially what this public-private partnership at the WEF is pushing for is for every person's access to the internet to be tied to a digital ID or a government-issued ID, but presumably a digital ID, just because of where government-issued ID programs are all going essentially around the world. People aren't necessarily going to consent to that unless they are made to believe that anonymity and privacy online are dangerous. So how exactly can you convince people that that needs to happen? Well, you have some sort of event where anonymous hackers do something online that causes major disruption globally, and then the consent can be manufactured through fear and panic, as is often done, that anonymity and privacy needs to be eliminated, that we need to know exactly who is doing what online to prevent a calamity of that scale from ever happening again. And this is the exact solution that these guys have been cooking for a very long time.
Hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have infiltrated critical services here in the U.S.
It was actually a very shocking result to us that there's very few number of substations you need to take out in the entire United States to knock out the entire grid.
Knock out the entire grid?
That's correct.
How many would it take to knock out, putting the entire country in a blackout?
Less than 20.
That report was from 2013, and it actually found the number was even lower, 9. Taking out just 9 critical substations could black out the whole country.
This was a huge cyber attack in the panicked early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, targeting a $1.8 trillion government agency. The truth of it has never been reported.
This is the Department of Health and Human Services, and on March 16, 2020, they were going to full remote work. Network operators had to adjust all their firewall and security settings to allow hundreds of thousands of new unknown connections into their network, so they had to scale down their security all at the same time.
And that's when the attack struck.
You can search the web with real and organic search results and do it without anyone tracking your activity or data. We ourselves use Atlas VPN to protect our data online. Atlas VPN is more than just any other VPN. It blocks all malicious links, ads and trackers and notifies you when someone is trying to spy on or steal your data. If you want to grab Atlas VPN, they have a great deal going on right now for just $1.70 a month and 6 months extra for free. We've provided a link in the description you can use to grab this deal. Try it out with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Not only does it protect your data, it also keeps your searches completely private. Also, protect unlimited devices at once. No limits are set. One subscription only for the best price. That's why we use Atlas. Oh, did we forget to mention it saves you a lot of money booking online? It's that easy. Grab Atlas VPN using the link in the description and secure your data today.
China's preparing for war with the United States. The strategy here is that they want to be able to invade Taiwan. They're worried that the United States will project military power from bases in Hawaii and the continental United States to Asia to defend Taiwan. And so what China's trying to do is to do these cyber intrusions, lay in wait, and at the right moment attack ports, attack water supply, attack energy supplies to prevent the United States from projecting military power forward.
We have a nuclear power plant offline because a water pump froze. We have coal plants offline because equipment froze or the coal piles froze. We have some solar panels covered in snow. We have some wind turbines coated in ice.
One woman in Texas filed a class action lawsuit against Texas power provider Griddy Energy after she was charged $9,500 for electricity during the week of the storm.
A new CBS report has found that the U.S. government's terror watch list has now grown to 2 million people.
And it has nearly doubled in size over just the last 6 years.
In the wake of the attacks in Israel, border officials say they've seen a growing number of people on the FBI terrorist watch list trying to enter the country through the southern border.
The figures show that in fiscal year 2023, CBP arrested a total of 154 non-citizens on the government's screening watch list. 151 of those individuals were arrested along the southern border. The numbers are up from 98 in the last fiscal year. The numbers represent a small fraction of all migrants processed at ports of entry.
We are right now in a very dangerous moment in the world, a very unstable situation.
News Nation has learned asylum seekers in New York City are going door to door looking for help on Staten Island.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea a new world order. The U.S. firmly supports the right of all peoples to emigrate. We have consistently supported this in our bilateral talks with other countries, and we have supported it strongly in the United Nations.
Your class has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order.
We immediately surged to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
When I win the presidency, I want you to immediately surge the border. Tens of thousands at the Eagle Pass alone. Thousands being let through an hour. Major railways on the U.S. border shut down, trade unable to come in, so that the Border Patrol can facilitate the biggest surge ever seen. Normally December and January are the lowest numbers. This is the biggest numbers ever.
Tens of thousands of more migrants. Look at this video just obtained from our Fox sources. It's about 3 hours south of Piedras Negras, the town behind me. They are trying to get on this train. You can hear them cheering as the train goes by. They can't get on the train, our source says, because that train, which he's riding on, is already at full capacity with migrants hanging off of it.
And in 2021, the Biden administration turned sports stadiums, football stadiums, concerts, convention centers, they closed them all down because of. And these stadiums were making their money by renting them out to the Biden administration. So you had 3,000 kids in a convention center in San Antonio. You had 4,000 kids in a convention center in Dallas, Texas.
$451 billion a year to care for, process the illegal migrants in this country. Cost of the border wall would have been about $15 billion. We couldn't even get $5 billion when Trump was in office. And we controlled the Congress and the Senate. Couldn't even get $5 billion. It was too expensive. It's too much money. So instead, we're spending $451 billion a year to take care of and house and provide the transportation for, provide the legal services for, and provide the courtroom facilities for foreigners, people that are not American. Contributed absolutely nothing to this country, by definition.
Also, starting January 1st, California will become the first state in the nation to offer health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
Under the expansion, more than 700,000 people between the ages of 26 and 49 will be eligible for Medi-Cal.
Your dad left you out of the house dressed like this. Who is your father?
And then they tell them how to vote or they get deported.
They can't stop you from voting.
If I vote, will immigration know where I live? Will they come for my family and deport us?
Not true. The saying of the vote is strictly confidential in terms of who you voted for. If you have a family member who maybe is undocumented, then you have an even greater reason to vote.
Project Veritas has received an explosive piece of tape. The tape you're about to see shows a man buying a registration form for an absentee ballot from a voter, giving him, quote, pocket money, unquote, of $200 and expecting to collect his ballot when the voter receives it.
She's the one who came up with all this.
So she did it. She started this whole thing with the pay to vote.
Yeah.
So the people that work for Ilhan are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote.
And they become a manager in the prison too.
They were told to come here and they say, thank you, Biden, we'll be voting Democrat. They're being made to be police officers.
So my husband owns a gun shop and he just called me to tell me that the ATF has made updates to their background check policy, and effective today, they give an exemption to illegal immigrants to be able to purchase firearms. Now, this strangely coincides with California, New York, and Chicago making it legal for illegals to be police officers.
I love it how the media says that this is a conspiracy theory, yet they've literally found documentation, literature. For goodness sake, sometimes these people have cell phones that they're actually given in order to organize these massive marches to the U.S.-Mexico border.
The fellow who brought him here, the terrorist is the EU, the terrorist is the UN, the terrorist is the WEF. They are using migrants as to demoralize our people, to force them to accept a new way of living with high crime all over our country.
I did overstate slightly the danger facing the European Union, namely that it's facing disintegration. And that was a slight exaggeration.